Hello everybody, my name is Landon, and welcome to the first video of my channel. Now, before we get started into everything, I want to tell you what my channel is a little going to be about. It was poorly worded. My channel is going to be book reviews. As you can see, I got a bunch of books over here. Movie reviews, if you guys are into that sort of thing. And any other requests that you guys want. I'll also be doing a series, like book reviews, it's a little spin-off of book reviews, like why I hate them and why I like them. So let's say, like, I have a favorite novel, and, like, somebody doesn't agree with me. I'll say why I like it. And they can fight back with me if they want. I don't really care. But, either way, let's get into this video. So I thought, what's a better way to start my channel than to say my top 5 favorite authors of all time, since I'm going to be doing a bunch of books and movie reviews. This is my favorite movie of all the time, by the way, if you guys didn't know that already. It's called The Ghost Story. It stars Casey Affleck and Rooney Mara. Go check it out if you guys like artsy type films. I'm really into that stuff. And The Punisher. Anyways, let's start off with number 5. And I probably should have had these books prepared, but you know, I don't. So let's just go around my room and get these books. Alright, coming in at the number 5 spot, we actually have another fellow YouTuber who I do watch, and he's also an author, and he's a very good author. I've read 2 of his books, and this is one of them. Edward Lorne. Edward Lorne is the author of many books, not sure how many, at least 10, and this is my favorite by him. It's called Cruelty, and it's actually his longest, around 600 pages, took me a while to read. 565 pages long to be exact. And the other one I am actually currently reading, it's called Bay's End, which is actually the one that I should have read first, because he mentions Bay's End in this, and he said in his latest video that he mentions Bay's End in, like, every single one of his books, so I should have started off with Bay's End before I read Cruelty, but this one caught my eye. And Edward Lorne, he's a really good guy. I watch him on YouTube, I talk with him a lot, we go back and forth in conversations between videos, and he's also a damn good writer. He loves horror. That's what his main genre is. And Cruelty was scary as hell. The monster that was in this book was absolutely terrifying. Now, let's go into the number 4 spot. I should have had these books prepared, but I didn't. Number 4, we have Dan Simmons. Now, even though he's at the number 4 spot, this is my favorite novel of all time. It's called The Terror, and it's about the 1845 Lost Franklin expedition, which was actually a true thing, but nobody knows what actually happened to them out there, so Dan Simmons decided to fictionalize it, and it was absolutely incredible. This book is 776 pages long, I think. 66 pages long, to be exact. It was huge. I read it in 5 days. I plowed through it. It's a great read. It's also an AMC original series, if you guys are into TV shows. It's currently airing right now. And this book was amazing. I'm currently reading Drood by him, and I have the Abominable over there, but Edward Lorne said that it was very boring, and I'll probably get that one last. But I'm reading Drood, which is also very terrifying. I'm only like 30 pages in, and it's already scaring my socks off, so Dan Simmons. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we have another one of my favorite novels of all time, and one of my favorite horror movies of all time. We have Adam Neville, and this is The Ritual. I watched the movie before I read the book, and that is a big mistake that nobody should ever make. Read all books before you watch the movie, because the movie of this was very, very different from the book, and the book was a lot better than the movie, even though I do love the movie. Adam Neville did a really good job writing this. The Sweden forests that he wrote in The Beast was really creepy. The cult that was in the end of the book. I'll try not to go into spoilers for any of these books that I'm talking about, but The Ritual is, if not in my top 5, in my top 10 favorite novels of all time list. It's very, very good. And now we don't have to really move, because my next 2 favorite authors are right behind me. At the number 2 spot, we have Joe Hill, the son of Stephen King. This is my favorite Joe Hill book. I'm taking out all my favorite books by these authors. I took out The Ritual, The Terror, and Cruelty by Edward Lorne. Nosferatu, or NOS 482, as it says on here. It was really creepy. Another one of the longer books, but I actually read this book in 3 days. I was so in love with it, I just couldn't stop reading this book. If you guys don't know Joe Hill, he's the son of Stephen King. He writes a lot like him, but there's some differences between the two. But in a lot of his novels, like The Fireman and this one, The Fireman and Nosferatu, he mentions Stephen King a lot. Like, The Fireman was like his Stand, Stephen King's The Stand, which I have down here. It was like a worse version of that. The Fireman's my least favorite Joe Hill novel, and for that reason, it was literally like I read The Stand twice. And it's not even as long, but it felt longer. But Nosferatu, on the other hand, is in my top 5 favorite novels of all time. Not even horror novels, in my top 5 novels. And it was scary. They're coming out with an AMC movie adaptation. AMC loves adapting these books, I guess. So, yeah. NOS482, Joe Hill at the number 2 spot. And surprise, surprise for the number 1 spot. None of you guys saw it coming. You guys can see all my books up here. I actually have more down here. Maybe I can move my camera down a little bit more. I have all of those down here. I have my hardcovers here. My short stories are over there. This is a first edition, I believe, Black House. And this is my 3rd favorite Stephen King novel, and one of my friends gave me the first edition hardcover of this book, and I was super excited. This is Dreamcatcher, by the way. Not a lot of people like this book, but I love it. So, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about why I love the Stephen King. The king of horror, if you will. And let me take out my favorite novel by him. This one's a novella. Edward Loren told me that this is a novella that was published as a novel, so people would have to pay full price for it. And I paid full price for it. And even though it's a novella, I still love this book. Stephen King's The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. It's actually 300 pages long, which in my terms would probably be a novel. This is a novel on the front, but like Edward Loren said, it's a novella published as a novel. And 300 pages is novel length for me, I would think. But The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon is about an 8-year-old girl who gets lost in the woods, and that's really it. She gets lost in the woods and she has to survive out there with very minimal supplies. They went on a hiking trip, her and her family. She gets lost from them, they can't find her, and she ends up getting lost in the woods for a very long time. I'm not going to spoil anything, but The Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon, it's a fantastic read, very short, very tight, and yeah. And this hat, if you guys are wondering, if I can get that back in there, is actually this novel right here, Stephen King's Salem's Lot. 2nd favorite Stephen King novel. I will be doing a top 10 Stephen King novel list in the near future. And this hat actually was made by an Instagrammer by the name of Horror Retro Caps. I bought this one off of him because I loved Salem's Lot and it looks very good. It's a trucker hat, if you guys can't see the back of it, and it's very good, very sturdy, very good hat. I've worn it around my school a few times. I'm not sure what people thought of it. I wore it for like 3 days and stopped wearing it, but I still do love this hat, and that's Salem's Lot. And that's Stephen King. Stephen King is a great author. If you don't know who Stephen King is, then you either don't read books or you aren't liking the right things. No, I'm just kidding. Love whatever you love. I mean, I love Dreamcatcher, and people hate Dreamcatcher, and I'm going to tell you guys why I love Dreamcatcher in one of the future videos. Like I said, I'm going to explain why I love Dreamcatcher, even though some people hate it. I'm going to explain why I love Girl Who Loved Tom Gordon. I'm going to explain why I hate a few of these books. Well, not hate, I wouldn't say hate. Just some of them are bad, like the Tommyknockers. Like, a very few, like a few percentage of people like the Tommyknockers, but I really don't know why. But they are coming out with a Tommyknocker movie, directed by James Wan, and hopefully they'll take all the parts that were in the book of the Tommyknockers that were bad and make them better, or take them out completely, because there were some scenes in this book that just didn't need to be in there at all. But other than that, Stephen King, my favorite novelist of all time. Behind him, Joe Hill. Behind him, Adam Neville. Behind him, Dan Simmons. And behind him, that would be Edward Loren. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe for more of these little lists. I will be doing a video every Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, and every other Saturday if you guys want to keep up to date with me. And yeah, that about does it. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.